Hey everyone, and welcome back for another deep dive. This time, we're all about you. We're going to be talking about your dream job and how to actually reach your career goals. We found this awesome video, and it's packed with advice on how to figure out not just what your dream job is, but also how to make it a reality.
It really focuses on the individual, which I think is so important.
Oh, absolutely.
Because there really is no one-size-fits-all when it comes to a dream job.
Right, like what works for one person might be a total nightmare for someone else.
Exactly, and this video really gets that. It's all about figuring out what brings you personally a sense of purpose and satisfaction.
I love that because it's so easy to get caught up in, what we should be doing.
Yeah.
Or what other people expect of us.
Oh yeah, for sure. Like what looks good on paper or what our parents want us to do. But at the end of the day, it's about finding work that makes you feel, truly fulfilled.
Totally. And the video uses this. I thought it was a really great analogy, this idea of a puzzle.
Oh yeah. Where each piece represents a different part of your ideal career. Yeah.
And so the first piece we got to find is, what does that dream job actually look like?
That's a great way to put it. Because it highlights that. It's not just about, a fancy title or making a ton of money.
Right. It's about so much more than that.
It's about finding something that aligns with your passions, your strengths, and your values.
So it's less about chasing someone else's definition of success.
Yeah.
And more about discovering what success means to you.
Exactly. It's your own unique definition.
To get us started, the video throws out some examples.
Yeah.
To get those wheels turning.
Right. Get those creative juices flowing.
They mentioned like teacher.
Yeah.
Entrepreneur. Wildlife photographer.
Oh, wow. That's a cool one. I've always wanted to do that.
They even mentioned astronaut.
Wow. So they're really shooting for the stars there.
Like they're saying, hey, dream big. Anything is possible.
It's so important to have that kind of mindset.
But I'm curious, for you, when you hear those examples, what gets you excited? What kind of work makes you feel like you're making a difference?
That's a great question. For me, I think I really thrive when I feel challenged and when I'm constantly learning. I love to just dig into complex topics and try to, connect the dots and then share those insights with others.
Oh, I love that. That's beautiful.
It's like solving a puzzle and then showing everyone how all the pieces fit together.
That makes so much sense. And it really highlights, the importance of self-awareness in this whole process.
Absolutely. You have to know yourself to know what you want.
Now, alongside those passions, we also got to think about practicalities.
Oh, yeah, the real world stuff.
Yeah, forget about that. Like work-life balance. The video talks about how important that is to figure out, what your ideal lifestyle looks like. Do you crave flexibility or do you prioritize stability?
That's a key piece of the puzzle for sure. Some people thrive in those fast-paced environments where things are always changing. Others need that predictability, that routine.
Yeah, makes sense. It's all about personal preference.
And neither one is right or wrong. It's about understanding what works best for you.
Okay, so imagine this. You figured out the type of work that gets you excited and how it fits into your ideal lifestyle.
Okay, so we've got a good chunk of that puzzle figured out.
Right, but how do we actually get there?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it?
It is. That's where the next piece of our puzzle comes in.
Okay, I'm intrigued. What is it?
Setting career goals.
Ah, goals. Central.
It's like building a bridge.
Yeah.
From where you are now to where you want to be.
Love that visual. Building a bridge.
And the video uses this, I thought it was a really beautiful image of stepping stones leading you across a river to your dream job.
Oh, I like that. Stepping stones.
It shows that the journey isn't about one giant leap, but rather a series of smaller, manageable steps.
Exactly. And we often talk about, short-term and long-term goals.
Right. Short-term goals are those actionable steps that you can take right now, like maybe taking a course to learn a new skill or reaching out to someone in your field for informational interview.
Okay. So those are the things you can do today to start moving in the right direction. Yeah, exactly. Little steps.
And then there are those long-term goals, those big audacious milestones that might take years to achieve.
The big picture stuff.
Yeah, like landing a specific job title.
Yeah.
Starting your own business.
Yeah.
Or even becoming, a thought leader in your industry.
Those are some big dreams. But how do we make sure those goals don't stay just dreams?
That's the key, isn't it? How do we turn those dreams into reality? That's where this idea of SMART goals comes in.
SMART goals. I love this framework.
And the video really dives into this, this acronym SMART.
Yeah, it stands for specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound.
So it's about taking those kind of vague aspirations and making them super concrete.
Right. So let's say your dream is to work in software development instead of saying, I want to be a software developer.
Which is pretty vague, pretty general.
A smart goal might be, I will complete a coding bootcamp within the next 6 months and build a portfolio of 3 projects to showcase my skills.
Oh, I see the difference. It's way more specific.
It is. It's got a timeline.
Yeah.
It's measurable. It's achievable.
And it's relevant to that specific goal.
Exactly. It takes that vague desire and turns it into a concrete plan.
Absolutely. And the timeline piece is so important because it adds that sense of urgency. Like it gives you a deadline, something to work towards.
Right. It keeps you accountable. Otherwise, it's easy to just keep pushing it off, you know?
Totally. It's like, oh, I'll get to it someday.
Exactly. But then someday never comes.
Now, even with a solid plan and clear goals, let's be real. There will be challenges along the way.
Oh, absolutely. That's just part of life, isn't it?
It is. It's part of the journey. And the video doesn't sugarcoat that. It actually dives into some of the most common roadblocks that people face.
Yeah, which I think is great.
Yeah.
Because it's better to be prepared.
Totally. Like knowing those obstacles are out there can help you, develop strategies for overcoming them.
Absolutely. It's all about being proactive.
One of the biggest challenges the video mentions is self-doubt.
Ugh. Yeah, that voice that creeps in and whispers, are you good enough?
Yeah.
Do you really do this?
Ugh. It's like self-doubt has a VIP pass to our inner circle.
It really does. It's always lurking.
So how do we quiet that inner critic?
Yeah.
And keep moving forward, especially when things get tough?
Well, one strategy that's really helped me is reframing my thinking.
Okay.
Instead of focusing on what I lack, I try to focus on my strengths and past achievements.
So it's like flipping the script, focusing on the positive.
Yeah, exactly. It's about reminding yourself of what you're capable of.
I love that. It's like building a highlight reel of your accomplishments to combat those negative thoughts.
Exactly. It's like your own personal pep talk.
But even with a positive mindset, there's the reality of juggling responsibility.
Right. Life doesn't stop just because you're chasing your dreams.
Work, family, maybe even further education. How do we find that elusive work-life balance?
That's a tough one.
Isn't it?
It is. It's like a constant juggling act. And there's no magic formula. But I think it starts with prioritization and honest self-assessment.
So figuring out what truly matters to you.
Yeah.
And then making conscious choices about how you spend your time and energy.
Exactly. It's about setting boundaries.
Yeah.
Learning to say no and not trying to do everything at once.
Those are great practical tips. And it reminds me of something else the video touched on, that classic catch-22 of needing experience to get a job, but needing the job to get experience.
Wow. Talk about frustrating.
It can feel like a vicious cycle.
It really can, like you're stuck and you can't move forward.
So how do we break free from that cycle?
Well, the video suggests that we think outside the box.
Okay, so get creative.
Exactly. Look for opportunities to build those skills outside of a traditional job setting.
Like what? Give us some examples.
Well, volunteering, internships, even personal projects related to your field.
Oh, I see. So it's about taking initiative.
And showing potential employers that you're passionate about learning.
Exactly.
And that you're willing to put in the work.
Those are all fantastic points. And I think what I'm hearing is that while the journey to your dream job might have its share of, detours and bumps, it's ultimately about being proactive, adaptable, and building a strong foundation for success.
I couldn't have said it better myself.
But I'm curious, what are some other practical tips the video suggests for actually finding that dream job?
Yeah.
It can feel like searching for a needle in a haystack sometimes.
It can, but the video actually frames it more like a treasure hunt, which I find much more exciting.
Okay, I'm all for a good treasure hunt.
Yeah.
Where do we start digging?
Well, the video suggests that we begin by exploring our interests.
Okay, so what are we genuinely passionate about?
Yeah. What activities make you feel energized and happy? Even if they seem unrelated to a specific career, they can offer valuable clues.
So it's about connecting the dots between our passions and potential career paths.
Exactly. Sometimes those most unexpected interests can lead to the most fulfilling work.
I love that, because it's so true. Sometimes those things that we love doing in our free time can actually turn into amazing careers.
Right. The video gave the example of someone who loves storytelling. ending up in marketing or content creation.
Who knew? Right.
Exactly. You never know where your passions might lead you.
Okay, so we've got exploring interests. What's next?
Well, once you've tapped into your interests, it's time to dive into research, watch videos, read articles, maybe even take a few online courses.
Oh, that's a great idea, to get a taste of what different careers actually entail.
Right. It's like taking those interests for a test drive
Mm.
and seeing if they have that long-term appeal.
And as you're exploring, don't underestimate the power of talking to people who are already working in fields that interest you.
All those informational interviews can be so valuable.
Yeah, because you can get those real-world perspectives.
Exactly. It's like getting a sneak peek behind the curtain.
Okay, so we've got exploring interests, diving into research, and informational interviews. What other gems does this treasure map hold?
Well, once you've got a better sense of those potential career paths, the next step is gaining practical experience.
Okay, so this is about actually getting our hands dirty, putting those skills to the test.
Exactly. This could be through internships, volunteer work, or even freelance projects.
But what if those opportunities are hard to come by, especially if you're just starting out?
That's a good question, and it's a common challenge. But that's where creativity and initiative come in.
So we got to get resourceful.
Exactly. Maybe you create your own project that showcases your skills, volunteer for a cause you care about, or reach out to companies and offer your services on a freelance basis.
I love that. It's about taking ownership of your learning and development.
Exactly, and creating your own opportunities.
And those experiences not only build your skill set, but they also give you real-world examples that you can share with potential employers.
Right. It shows that you're not just talking the talk, but you're walking the walk.
Okay, so we've got exploring interests, doing research, informational interviews, gaining practical experience. What else?
Well, speaking of employers, the video emphasizes something that can often feel daunting, but is ultimately crucial.
Networking.
Networking. You got it.
Ah, yes. Networking. The word that makes some people cringe.
I know. Some people just shut down when they hear that word.
But I think we can all agree that building connections can open doors to opportunities you might not have even known existed.
Absolutely. It's all about who you know and who knows you.
And it's not about, being fake or schmoozing or trying to use people.
No, not at all. It's about building genuine relationships and having meaningful conversations.
So it's less about what can you do for me and more about how can we learn and grow together.
Exactly. It's about mutual support and collaboration.
And you never know where a simple conversation might lead.
That's so true. I've had so many experiences where a casual chat turned into an amazing opportunity.
I love that. You just never know.
You really don't. And that's what makes it so exciting.
Okay, we've covered a lot of ground in this first part of our deep dive.
We have. It's been a great conversation.
From defining our dream job to setting those smart goals and navigating potential challenges, it feels like we've got a solid foundation for our career treasure map.
I think so too. We've got a good plan in place.
But I've been curious, what other insights did this video spark for you?
One thing that really stood out to me was the emphasis on finding work that not only aligns with your skills and passions, but also allows you to make a positive impact on the world.
That's such an important point, because at the end of the day, we all want to feel like our work matters.
We do. We want to feel like we're making a difference.
It's about finding that sweet spot where your work feels meaningful and fulfilling, not just a way to pay the bills.
Exactly. It's about finding your purpose.
I love that perspective. It adds a whole new dimension to our treasure hunt. It's not just about finding a job. It's about finding your purpose.
Exactly, and leaving your mark on the world.
So as we wrap up this first part as our deep dive, I'm curious, what are some key takeaways you think our listeners should keep in mind as they continue to explore their own dream job?
Well, I think it's important to remember that there's no one-size-fits-all approach. This is your journey, and you get to define what that looks like. So be curious, be persistent, and don't be afraid to ask for help along the way.
Those are great words of wisdom. And remember, even though we're unpacking all these insights from a video, your journey will be uniquely yours. So embrace the process, stay true to yourself, and most importantly, have fun along the way.
Yes, have fun. This is an exciting time.
We'll be back in part 2 to dive even deeper into turning those dreams into reality.
Can't wait. Welcome back. It's great to be continuing this deep dive into dream jobs.
Yeah, I'm excited to pick up where we left off.
Me too.
Yeah.
So, in that first part, we talked about, defining your dream job, setting those SMART goals.
Right. We talked about those potential challenges, but remember, those are just speed bumps, not roadblocks.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, ooh, we've prepped our vehicle, we've plotted our course, and now we're ready to hit the road.
I love that analogy. I'm ready to hit the gas.
But even with the best navigation system, sometimes you need to take a detour or adjust your route based on real-time conditions.
Right, like maybe there's construction or an accident, or you just get a flat tire.
Exactly, and that's where adaptability comes in.
So being able to go with the flow.
Exactly, being flexible, being open to new information, and being willing to change course if needed.
That's such a great reminder, because it takes the pressure off having to have everything figured out perfectly from the start.
Absolutely. And remember, your dream job isn't a static destination. It can evolve as you gain experience, as you learn more about yourself.
Okay, so to continue our analogy, let's say you hit a detour on your career journey.
Okay. What are some strategies for navigating those unexpected twists and turns?
Well, one thing that the video really emphasizes is the importance of resilience.
Resilience. Okay, so what does that mean in the context of our careers? It means having that ability to bounce back from setbacks, learn from your mistakes, and keep moving forward, even when things get tough. It's about not giving up, even when things get hard.
It's like having a mental spare tire in your career toolkit.
I love that. So you might get a flat, but you're prepared to change it and keep rolling.
But how do we cultivate that resilience? Because it's easier said than done right.
It is. It takes practice. One strategy that's really helped me is to view challenges as opportunities for growth.
Okay, so instead of getting discouraged when something doesn't go as planned, you try to find the lesson in it.
Exactly. You ask yourself, what can I learn from this? How can I use this to become stronger?
That's such a powerful shift in perspective. It's like turning those lemons into lemonade.
Or maybe a lemon meringue pie. Even better.
But let's be honest, sometimes those setbacks can really knock the wind out of our sails, especially when we're dealing with rejection or self-doubt.
Yeah, those can be tough to handle. It's like you just lose all your motivation.
So how do we stay motivated and keep that momentum going when it feels like we're pushing a boulder uphill?
Well, one thing that's really helpful is to surround yourself with a supportive network.
Okay, so having a good support system.
Exactly. People who believe in you.
Yeah.
People who encourage you. People who will listen to you vent when you need to.
Yeah, because sometimes you just need to let it all out.
Absolutely. And sometimes you just need someone to remind you of how awesome you are.
Those cheerleaders are essential.
They really are. They can help you dust yourself off and remind you why you started this journey in the first place.
And I think it's also important to acknowledge and celebrate those small wins along the way.
Oh, absolutely. Those small victories are so important.
Each step forward, no matter how small, deserves to be recognized and celebrated.
Exactly. It's like giving yourself a little reward for each milestone you reach.
So maybe you landed an informational interview, or you completed a challenging course, or you just made a new connection in your field.
Those are all wins, and they should be celebrated.
Take the time to acknowledge your progress and give yourself credit for the effort you're putting in.
And remember, those small wins, they add up over time. They create momentum.
So it's like giving ourselves a high five, or maybe even a little victory dance for each milestone we reach.
I love it. Let's do a victory dance.
Speaking of milestones,
let's
dive back into those practical tips for finding your dream job.
Okay, let's do it. I'm ready for more treasure hunting.
Remember, the video framed it like a treasure hunt. We talked about exploring interests, diving into research, informational interviews.
So far, so good.
What other gems does this treasure map hold? All right, we are back for the final part of our deep dive into dream jobs and career goals. I am so excited to bring this all together. Really talk about, taking action.
Me too. It's been a great conversation so far. But now it's time to put all these insights into practice.
Exactly. We've done all this exploring. Now it's time to actually start building.
Right. We've laid the groundwork. Now it's time to start constructing that bridge to our dream job.
Remember those SMART goals we talked about?
Oh, yeah. Those are key.
Specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound. So it's time to take those goals off the drawing board and turn them into concrete steps.
I love that visual. Taking those goals from the drawing board to the construction site.
Right. Let's say our listener's dream is to become a graphic designer.
Okay, that's a great example.
What might a SMART goal look like in that scenario?
Well, instead of just saying, I want to be a graphic designer, which is pretty vague, we can get more specific. A SMART goal might be something like, I will enroll in a graphic design course within the next 3 months and create a portfolio of 5 design projects by the end of the year.
That's way more actionable. You've got a timeline. You've got specific deliverables.
Exactly. It takes that aspiration and turns it into a plan.
And the timeline piece adds that extra layer of accountability. It's like setting a deadline for ourselves.
Right. It gives you something to work towards, something to aim for.
But even with the best laid plans, we all know that life throws curveballs.
Oh, for sure. Unexpected things happen. Plans change. It's inevitable.
And this video doesn't shy away from those challenges. It actually emphasizes being prepared for the unexpected.
Yeah, which I think is so important, because knowing that setbacks are going to happen helps you develop that resilience.
It's like having shock absorbers on our career journey.
Yeah.
Helping us navigate those bumps and dips.
I love that analogy. It really paints a picture.
But what are some practical strategies for building resilience?
Well, one thing that's really helped me is to view setbacks as opportunities.
Opportunities for what?
Opportunities for learning, for growth.
So instead of getting discouraged when something doesn't go as planned, you look for the lesson in it.
Exactly. You ask yourself, what can I learn from this? How can I use this to become better?
It's like turning those challenges into valuable lessons.
Right. It's about reframing those negative experiences into something positive.
And speaking of challenges, the video also touched on self-doubt.
Yes, that pesky little voice.
It can be so easy to get caught up in those negative thoughts and start questioning our abilities.
It's like self-doubt has a megaphone, and our confidence has a tiny little whisper.
And we tend to listen to the megaphone more often than not.
We do. But we need to learn to turn down that volume.
So how do we do that? How do we quiet that self-doubt?
Well, one strategy is to focus on our accomplishments.
Okay, so remind ourselves of what we've already achieved.
Exactly. Keep track of your wins. Celebrate your successes, no matter how big or small.
I love that idea of keeping a success journal. It's like creating a highlight reel of our achievements.
Exactly, and you can look back on it whenever you need a boost.
But even with a positive mindset, sometimes staying motivated can be tough.
Oh yeah, for sure. Especially when you're facing rejection or feeling like you're not making progress.
It's like you hit a wall.
Yeah.
Or you just want to give up.
It's so easy to lose momentum when you're not seeing results.
So what's the antidote to that?
Well, one thing that can help is breaking down those big goals into smaller milestones. Okay, so make those goals more bite-sized.
Exactly. And then celebrate each milestone you achieve.
So it's like rewarding ourselves for each step we take.
Yeah, it makes the journey more enjoyable, and it helps you stay motivated.
To recap, we've got SMART goals, resilience, reframing challenges, and celebrating those small wins.
Well, those are some great tools.
What other tools can we add to our dream job toolkit?
One thing the video mentions that I think is really important is personal branding.
Oh yeah. It's all about how you present yourself to the world.
Exactly. It's about showcasing your unique skills and experiences in a way that resonates with potential employers.
So it's about creating a story that highlights what makes you stand out.
Exactly. Because in today's job market, you need to be able to differentiate yourself.
You need to be able to answer that question. Why should we hire you?
Right. You need to be able to articulate your value.
But how do we go about crafting that story?
Well, a good place to start is by reflecting on your strengths, your passions, your values.
So it's like taking inventory of what makes us tick. Exactly. And once you have a clear understanding of those elements, you can start weaving them into a compelling narrative.
And that narrative can be shared through your resume, your online presence, your portfolio, even your networking interactions.
It's about creating a cohesive and authentic representation of yourself.
Okay, so we've got personal branding. What else?
Well, we can't forget about our online presence.
Oh yeah, that's huge these days.
It is, especially when it comes to job searching.
So we're talking about things like LinkedIn profiles, personal websites, online portfolios.
Exactly. It's like having a virtual storefront that's open 24/7.
And it allows potential employers to learn about you even before they meet you.
But remember, it's not just about being online. It's about being strategic.
Okay, so how do we do that?
Well, you want to choose platforms that align with your goals and your target audience.
So if you're a visual artist, you might focus on Instagram or Behance.
Exactly. And if you're a writer,
Yeah.
you might focus on Medium or LinkedIn.
And remember, your online presence should be an extension of your personal brand.
Absolutely. It should tell your story, showcase your skills, and highlight what makes you unique.
And don't forget the power of networking.
Oh, yes. Networking is essential.
Attending industry events, joining online communities, connecting with people in your field.
It all helps you expand your reach and build relationships.
You never know where a simple conversation might lead.
That's so true. I've gotten some of my best jobs through connections I made at networking events.
It's amazing how serendipitous life can be.
It really is. You just never know who you're going to meet or what opportunities might come your way.
We've covered a lot of ground in this deep dive. We talked about setting goals, building resilience, crafting a personal brand, and the importance of networking,
And we talked about finding work that aligns with your values.
which I think is so important.
Yeah,
Because at the end of the day, it's not just about finding a job, it's about finding your purpose.
it is. And making a positive impact on the world.
It's been an incredible journey diving deep into this topic with you.
I've enjoyed it so much. It's been a great conversation.
We've explored so many valuable insights and practical strategies, but ultimately, your journey will be uniquely yours.
It will, and that's what makes it so exciting.
Embrace the process, trust your instincts, and remember that the most fulfilling careers are those that are built with passion, purpose, and a commitment to making a difference.
So well said. I couldn't agree more.
Thank you so much for joining us for this deep dive. We can't wait to hear about all the amazing things you accomplish.
Yes, keep us posted on your journey. We're cheering you on.
Until next time, keep dreaming big, keep learning,
Yeah.
and keep diving deep.